Malola, Marale, Marale, Majaye, Maramoto, Marogwe, Mushino. Yeah. You go play, you get patience. Clean out, I don't like pretense. I want the blessings within my location, oh. Bad mind in my circumference. They go do, they go yarn nonsense. I know send that they for high vibration, oh. Malola, Marale, Marale, Majaye, Maramoto, Amarogwe, Bushiloto, Malola, Marale, Marale, Majaye, Maramoto, Amarogwe, Bushiloto. Celebration, jubilation.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Toyin Umesiri. Happy to be here again. Day 4. I'm like clapping for myself. I've never done this before. Like coming live every single day for 10 days. That's the commitment I've made. So today I have something very, very juicy for you. It's going to be sharing how to think about creating or optimizing a winning business model. So if you're live and you're online, do drop a note, say hello. You know how it is. There are a few familiar names that I'm looking forward to. Mieza, when you come in and you watch this, drop your comments. You always encourage me each day. So good morning, good afternoon. I'll get right to it. I hope you can hear me. If you're online, drop a comment. Let me know where you're joining from. If you have any questions, drop that as well. So let's get right to it. Today, I'm talking about business model. What I found is that the idea of business model design, business development is something that the biggest companies in the world, they know about this, but in the small business development arena, right, I find out that it's something people struggle with. So I actually have a background with design thinking, strategic planning for retail, retail and manufacturing, right? In terms of systems optimization, all of those things. So that's my background. So when I became an entrepreneur, I had to learn really, really fast. And I brought with me my optimization skills. That's something that have allowed me to do a lot of the things that I do. Now, what I'm also doing, like I've shared before, in the past, I would just show my work, like these are the opportunities to be a part of my work. But now I'm showing up and sharing the tools and resources, frameworks that I use for myself and my clients, right? So I'm sharing it as well. So today I'm going to be sharing a lot of analogies just to help people understand what this is. And, sometimes it sounds so complex and it's so out of reach for many people. And my job is to demystify a lot of these complex topics. So the way I'm going to demystify business model today is, think of it as a prescribed drug, and you're trying to dose your customers or clients, like particularly in the service space, right? When it comes to products, it's quite easy. You create a product and you sell it, right? But when we are in the space of delivering services, it becomes more challenging, because I see us all struggle with, hey, I have so many amazing things. I can do so many things for you, my clients. I can make your life, I can do, right? You have a bundle of knowledge, expertise, experience, skill sets that you're bringing to the table. But here's the breaking news, right? Your clients cannot consume you as you are. You have to productize or dose. You have to actually engineer packages, programs, and all of those things that you have to test out and make sure it's the right dose. And that's what you're going to deliver to solve the pain points, right? You're trying to address, like to address the pain that your customers or clients are facing. Okay, let me repeat it again. The way I'm going to describe business model, the way I want you to think about creating a winning business model is, you are a doctor that want to prescribe not even a doctor, you are the manufacturer of a medication. You see people struggling out there. You see your potential clients that you want to solve, you want to address their problem. You see them suffering. You can see the problem, but guess what? They cannot consume you as you are until you engineer the right dose. You encapsulate a solution, not all your solution. It cannot be too big because it overwhelms them. It cannot be too small that it doesn't pack a punch and it doesn't solve the problem. Your job as a business owner is to play the role of a pharmaceutical company. It could take you 2, 3, 4, it could take you years, just like a pharmaceutical company, right? It could take you years to finally find the right dose that would kill or address that pain enough that it relieves the pain. And this is applicable across sector, right? Particularly in services. That's what I have had to find, is that that's the major struggle, is that we have so much to offer. Like we're loaded. But guess what? The clients, they don't care about how amazing you are. They don't. The key is, can you engineer a prescriptive medication that addresses a particular pain point? And guess what? When you dose it and they try it out the first time, like, oh, I feel better. And then they come back. Now, just like in medication, there are some medications that it's a lifetime or 6 weeks dose. Only use this for 1 month, right? That's the way I'm trying to get you to see how you're going to engineer your business model. It's your job as the business owner to design a prescribed solution for the problems that your customers are facing. And when, yesterday we talked about messaging and all of those things. Some of the things I help people also work out is identifying your customers, identifying their pain points, identifying maybe it's their aspiration, and then designing your value proposition, right? So business model is after you've done all of that work of, your customers, their pain points, their aspirations, and you also have, your value proposition, like this is what I want to do for them. The business model is how you engineer, how you're going to deliver that result. And it also ties into not just delivering the results, how you're going to market what you're going to do for them. So, in subsequent days, I'll be talking about marketing as well, because so this work is important for you to do this so that you know what you're going to be selling out there. So this is engineering the product. It also ties into how you're going to get paid. Tomorrow we talk about platforms and how you deliver, right? Because sometimes you find out some medication is you have to put it, you have to encapsulate it. It's so bitter that you have to coat it with truth because your customers, they don't want to hear the truth. They are going this way. You're like, no, you're wasting resources. But guess what? They don't want to hear the truth. So it's your job to take that prescriptive and put it in a capsule. The more bitter it is, the more you have to encapsulate it, right? You have to encapsulate it in a way that when they ingest it, it gives them the relief that they so need, right? When we're giving kids medication, we know it's good for them, but they will never take it. So that's why we put a lot of sugar. You sweeten it up. That's what you need to do when it comes to business model. So I see people joining. Musoke from Kampala, Uganda, welcome. How can I be helped? Business strategy. Yes. So what I'm doing today is more of a sampling, when it comes to business modeling as well. It's like I'm delivering a sample, but this is not a big dose of Toyin, right? Toyin is showing up in this dimension because I realize so many people need support. And that's why I'm teaching this. So I'm teaching you what I do so that you can do it for yourself as well. So today I only have 30 minutes. So this is day 4 of a 10-day transformation challenge where I'm walking people through and sharing tools, capacity, mindset, frameworks that helps me to do what I do so that you can also do it for yourself. But if you now need more dose of Toyin, like one-on-one, then you can definitely reach out. Mieza, good morning. I called your name earlier. I'm looking forward to you. You've been on this journey from day one. Hopefully, the goal is if you stick with this for the next 10 days, right? The entire I want to hear from you in terms of what's game-changing transformation this has brought about for you as well. So How are you, Mieza? Good to see you. Always good to see people returning for more dose. So today I was talking about business modeling, sharing a framework and using an analogy so that people understand the work ahead of them. Like, it's not enough to say, I am amazing. Toyin is amazing. Toyin has worked for Fortune 1. Toyin used to serve as strategist for this. Toyin has done this. Nobody cares about that. What people care about is Toyin. I'm suffering. My business is suffering. It's going down the drain. Can you help me? Okay. That's what people care about. And that's one of the things, I'm also sharing because I see so many people struggle. Like, why are people not approaching? Why are people not coming? Why are clients not coming? It's because of your business model. You need to engineer the right medication for the right problem. And you have to put it in a delivery method. And you have to message it, which we're going to talk about how you message your solution later. You have to message it to the right people. Remember, we've already talked about identifying your customers, your value proposition, knowing their pain points, knowing their aspiration. This prescription is the solution to that. It's not enough to say, I can solve your problem. You have to create a dose. Okay? So that's the first framework, because this really helps me to realize, like, yeah, Toyin could be saying amazing things, but if Toyin cannot help people, if Toyin cannot solve people's problems, then who cares about what Toyin is? So that's the same thing I want you to realize, is that no matter how amazing your company is, until you engineer a specific solution to a specific issue that your potential clients are having, and then they test it out and it works, they have to agree with you that it works. It's not, that's the other thing. I see a lot of people out there like, it works. No, it doesn't work until it works. Think about COVID-19 vaccine. No matter how much they say it's work, until people test it out and it works and they agree that it works. That's why you have to stay in that lab. I call it a lab project. You have to keep engineering. You have to keep testing. You have to keep trying and testing it out in the marketplace until enough people say, yes, this program is a game changer for us. So for example, let me just give practical examples. So for me, what it looks like is, now this is Toyin. Toyin does a lot of other things, lipstick brand, all of that's different. I'm saying Toyin brand as a strategist, as a coach, as a business consultant. What I've had to do is package it in a dose. 6 weeks program, that could be enough for you. We test, we work with you 6 weeks. I know in 6 weeks, your business will be transformed. Now, there are some problems where you might say, let's up that dose. Like, this is a weekend problem. Let's up that dose. We do that, customize. The other dose I have, I'm sharing this so that you know the secret for yourself. Another dose could be courses. There are 3-hour masterclasses that I've packaged as a course that you can learn. If you have the capacity to learn by yourself, you can take the class, right? That's it. There are also doses where I have membership programs. Like every single month, I have group coaching programs where people that enroll in my program, they're guaranteed access to myself, right? Because you're not guaranteed that access until you enroll in that program. Or you can do self-service, buy the course, dose yourself 3 hours of a masterclass, get what you need. Now, another dose I'm working on is a book. I'm working on a book, right? A book is a dose where people may not be able to afford one-on-one with you or your membership or say your e-course, but at least, come on, they can buy a book. So I can pack a lot of knowledge and pack a punch in a book, put it out there, and those who want to solve that pain point for themselves, they can then address it, right? They can buy the book and do self-serve, right? That's what I mean. That's what I have had to learn how to do. Like, it's not enough to just say, Toyin is amazing, Toyin served as strategist. I'm like, yeah, that's you and your previous. What can you do for me? What can you do for me? It's the same thing that I see a lot of people struggle. This is struggle. Like when we move into the day, I don't know exactly what day, because I've mapped each of this this 10. Again, this 10 days is also a dose. It's a dose. Like, it's, if I say, come, let me help you, people will be like, I don't trust. What have you done before? Okay, let me give you a 10 days dose of toy. Let's see if you can use that. Now, for those who test the 10-day sample and they're able to use it and address, great. But there will be some that you're still going to need help. Then you up your dose, right? You know, a lot of us go to the doctor. He's like, oh, let me give you a sample. You test the sample, you're like, I don't need that. You test the sample, like that's exactly what I needed, right? And there are some, don't be that person, that the sample works, but they're like, no, let me delay this. And the problem gets worse. It might take them a year, it might take them 6 months, it might take them 2 years. That the problem just gets worse. And I've seen it. Where 2 years after they come back and say, Tony, we are back. I'm like, you're still going to go through that process. 2 years ago, I told you this is what we needed to do to help you. You said, no, Tony. You know, you remember what I said, that sometimes the dose could be bitter. You have to encapsulate it. So I've also learned that I know what people need. At least I think I do. Right? If you've watched me, but people still don't know. They don't, the truth and the work that is required to build a business and to create wealth. Many people are not ready for it. So sometimes you need to backtrack. I just say, okay, let's see. And then I watch them 1 year, 2 years, they go round and round and round. And then they're like, we didn't find that solution. We're back there again. So that's something I see a lot. Is that sometimes people will say, I'm going to, I'll solve this myself. And that's fine. I tell people, eventually you're going to figure this out. Eventually you're going to figure this out. But by the time you figure it out, it could be 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Eventually I figured it out. But here is what I'm saying. I wish before I left corporate that somebody said, Toyin, let me spend 6 weeks with you, tell you everything you need to do, all of that. Because the other thing I share is like being in if you're transitioning from corporate to entrepreneur, it's like the lion, right? You know something inside of you says you can roar, you're a lion, you can be there, you can fend for yourself. But if the longer you've stayed in corporate, I stayed for more than 10 years, just know you've been domesticated. You've been a domesticated lion. Somebody has domesticated you. The moment you say you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to go out there and you want to deliver value and you want to be by yourself, the best thing you can do is to look for the papa lion and the mama lion that they've been out in the jungle for 20, 30 years. Learn from them if they're willing to learn, because these things sometimes people don't want to teach. If they're willing to learn, coach, pay them. That payment will save you how many years? But again, just like your doctor would tell you, it's still up to you. They can only prescribe. You still have to want it enough. You have to want the solution enough to take the dose. So that's the analogy I'm giving. So I'm going to stop right there. The second thing I want to say you have to decide in designing your business model and in a way finding your customers and connecting to them is sometimes you need to decide if you want to fish with a fishing rod or you want to fish with a rod, with a net, and I'm going to share. I'm using analogies hopefully so that people can get their mind in the right frame and realize the work at hand, right? Like a lot of the things we all want, it's not overnight. We have to be ready to work towards it. Okay. So the reason I'm using the fishing analogy is that and I see this happen a lot on LinkedIn, on social media, is you're fishing, you now have a dose. You can say, I want one customer, and you go after them, you niche down, you fish one, and to do that, you stay at the shore. Your work is easier, right? But you're just looking for the right customer and all of that. But there's another strategy. So it's not that one is good or better. It just depends on you and your capacity. There's another opportunity where you want to fish in deep waters, like you want volume. And fishing in deep waters, right, requires a different skill set. You have to travel months into the deep sea. You have to go with a team. You have to go with nets. You must be patient, because when you throw that net, you're casting a wide net. And when you bring that net in, you now have to sort. You now have to sort. Okay, no, this is not the fish I was looking for. Throw it back in. Oh, yes, this is the fish. Right? It's just capacity. Now, what I try to do is I diversify. There are some is I stay on the shore, one, because you still have to feed yourself. But then there's something that is the long game, the long term. So it's short term versus long term strategy for your business is solving for today, but also solving for tomorrow. So there are some things that I'm doing that's actually solving for the tomorrow, literally creating a new industry, a new space that is like going to be the next blue ocean. But while we're doing that, which is a mistake I made, while I'm trying to solve for that game, you better be solving for today, because the customers today, they're ready. The customers of tomorrow, they're not ready, which is the last thing I want to share today, just to encourage people. If you're solving in an innovative way, you're solving something that has never been solved, this message is for you. Know that you have your work, your work is cut out for you, because guess what? Your customers don't know they have those problems you've identified. They don't know your solution exists. So a problem that they don't know about is not a problem that they are looking to solve, right? You have to know that. So this is why the cost of innovation is very high. Like if you're solving, if you're being innovative, be ready, be very, very patient, because there's also a curve, the normalized curve of innovation. The first 5 years, if you're bringing something new to the marketplace, you better know that you are just getting early adopters. Oh, Toyin, I've seen that, and I'm sharing it out of experience. Early adopters, first 3, 4, 5 years. That's when you talk about blitz scaling, all of those things. You spend so much money in marketing and letting people know they have a problem and all of that. Here's the difference. Let's say you were a dentist. Your industry is mature. Your industry has already done a lot of work for you. You don't have to tell people they have cavity in their teeth. Your industry has already told them. Your industry already shared with them that you need to see your dentist maybe once or twice a year. I don't know what your schedule is. Your industry has already marketed for years that you need to take your kids, you need to get braces, you need this, you need that. So when you become a dentist, do you know all you have to do? You just have to get a room and put a sign, I'm a dentist. People are already looking for you. Your community is already, in fact, they're already going into Google and searching dentists near me. So you just have to sit back and the customers are coming. Maybe minimum marketing, like, oh, we are new here. That's what happens if you're going into a mature industry. A mature industry is one that customers already know that issue exists. They already know what type of solution they should be looking for. So all they're just looking is picking if you are the right solution for them. That is what happens in mature industry. If you're in a space where you are creating an industry and you're trying to solve something that has never been solved before, know that not only do you have to tell people what the problem is that you've identified in them that they don't know, you have to be patient enough to tell them that story through your marketing and drum it, it's like what's in it for them. And it's a lot more challenging. It's a lot more challenging. I'm right there with you. And that's why I'm sharing this thing. Like, don't get frustrated, because guess what? The customers didn't even know yet that they need you. It's just like the Zoom story, right? Did we all know we needed all of this until the pain became, right? So there are times when you need to let time. You need to let time do the work for you. You need to let it simmer and get people very uncomfortable, right? When disruption happens. Now that disruption is happening and people are leaving corporate, now I can say, Toyi can help you. But before, when people are not restless, they don't know what to do with you. They don't need your solution. So anyway, there are different strategies you need to apply. But this is what, that's why I'm sharing this, because these are the things, the realities, right, of some of the things I've had to learn that I wish, and some people, not just the mechanism, you need to know the mindset shift. And that's why we started day one, mindset shift, right? Realize your success is dependent on other people. Like if you follow from day one, day two, day three, you realize that I'm building on. So number one, again, when it comes to business model, Your job is to design the right dose for the right problem. Now, again, we're still going to talk about how you market and how you message that. But just like a pharmaceutical company would spend years in research, realize that the first dose you put out there is not the one to work. You just have to keep trying it, right? Okay, 6 weeks program, e-course. And because I've tested and tried and worked with so many people for years, that's why I can now publicly come live and say, I can help you. I know what your challenges are. Let's work on that, right? So hopefully that's encouraging. I'm looking at time now. I'll start wrapping up. I see. Okay, let me just acknowledge Smith. Okay. Oh, thank you for tagging your friends. Yes, please reshare this, because this is what the community needs right now. That's why I'm showing up in this way. For those who have followed me for years, you know I've never showed up in this way before. All I do is show up with the finished product. I don't share my secrets. I don't share the secret sauce. I don't share my mindset. I don't share everything I do behind the scene. You just see Toyin like doing all these things like, oh, with executives, oh, this, but now I'm showing up and sharing ideas and also helping people to accelerate their own journey, because eventually you're going to figure it out. Trust me, every smart person figures it out eventually. But the costs that you're going to pay and the wasted resources and the going around and round and round in circles, that's what really I'm trying to save people on. And it's a choice, right? It's like that's back to the doctor. The doctor can prescribe all you want until the pain you're facing, okay, is high enough. People won't dose themselves, right? They don't. And this is the reality that I'm also sharing with people. Like, there are some things that you can control. There are some things you cannot control. And if you know this knowledge, I'm going to refer back to this. When we're talking about marketing, your marketing plan, I'll refer back to this. Is knowing that this is the way the world works is going to help you to make sure that you have clarity when you're putting your message out there. You don't go this way. You have to be specific. Use 3 tablets. You know, that specificity is what your customers need, right? Tylenol, once a day, every 4 or 6 hours, boom. Like, right? You know, ibuprofen or ibuprofen, well, no matter how you say it, use 1. But if your issue is too high, double it up, use 2. Do not use more than this in a day. In your marketing message, clarity. You cannot go, oh, I can help. No, 6 weeks programs, e-course, workshop. Like, if I'm doing a workshop, I slow all these things down. Like, you know, right now with a live stream, it's 30 minutes I've given myself. I'm racing. You can tell that I'm speaking very fast because I want to pack a lot. But when I'm hosting a workshop, I slow it down, because what is most important to me is grasping the knowledge and practicing it right there while I'm there. So when I'm hosting a workshop, you know, when I tell people show up for a workshop, people be like, yeah. The reason I use workshop is because I slow it down. I share it. I tell you to test it out. You have questions, I'm able to be live. Like right now, I cannot really respond. You bring your problem to the room, we sort it out together. In a workshop, that's what I do. In a masterclass, I pack punch, like 3 hours of, when you're done with my masterclass, you go back and think about your life. Like, you'll be like, oh, it's a lot. I see 3 hours and I just go straight. But for this 10-day series, it's just a microdose. I'm microdosing you all. Like 30 minutes, boom, boom, boom. 10 days. After 10 days, you'll be like, oh boy, that was a nice sample. Oh. How can I get more of Toyin? Okay, this is, again, I told you guys, I'm showing up. The people who know me privately, this is the version they get. Everything I've been showing out there is very, very, is filtered, very filtered. Because like I said, the truth is bitter. You have to encapsulate it. You have to wrap it up. You have to put it in a capsule and give it to people in micro doses. Otherwise, people cannot help themselves. I'm telling you, I have a ton. When I'm talking, if I'm anything I say, just take it. I've hosted over 100 leading experts. I've hosted multiple international events. I engage with more people on an average day than most people do. I know quite in terms of there's an awareness of the reality. What it's like, there's a fantasy. Some people are living in fantasy. Please, that fantasy is supposed to help you to mobilize you. But the moment you leave that fantasy world and you want to deal in the real world, be ready. And I've lived in fantasy world, and I'm now like living in the real world, and I'm telling you guys, fierce. There's a lot. So I'm starting to wrap up for today. Please tell me, how was the sample? Toria says, thank you for the samples. I love it. Okay, these are my true fans. Okay, once you get to know this version of Toya, I think you fall in love with her. I think so, because I love me. I'm telling you, I love me, and I hope you love yourself too. And I have this women 360 woman ministry that I run as well. So I think what I'm doing is mixing, the business side of Toyin, the life coach side of Toyin, the strategic side of Toyin, the technical competence of Toyin. This is it. This is it. And so take me, and I think people will fall in love with this, because I love this version. This is the version of Toyin that does all of that work. Is that, I really I'm blessed. I thank God for all his gifts and how he helps me. And I'm a student of life. So I learn. I'm a student of life. I learn really fast. And then what I also try to do is teach. So it's not, in fact, I was talking to a friend of mine. I don't know if she would be watching the other day. And, she was like, it's almost going to be injustice, Toyin, if you don't share what you know. Like, it would be a crime. She was like, it would be a crime, Toyin, if you don't dose people. Because you just dosed me on the phone now and I feel better. So how do we scale this? That was what she was saying. Like, it's almost a crime. Your perspective and the things you do, it will be a crime if you don't help other people win. With digital acceleration, digital disruption, there's a lot of confusion. Like, calm down. Everybody, let's calm down. Get in the driver's seat. That's what I started with day one. Remember, get in the driver's seat, right? And what's also happening, okay? Just to warn you, not warn, but alert you, is from day 4 going forward now, I'm increasing the intensity. So I started day 1 with mindset, get in the driver's seat. I'm warming you up. Okay, I'm warming you up. Day 2, I was like, this lead up, lead down, lead across, lead beyond. Okay, I'm warming. Day 4, I've taken it up a notch, right? Here on out, it's more. So please be prepared. Like, Toyin, tomorrow we'll be talking about the vehicles that you're going to use to dose your customers and clients. So please think about that. You're here to solve a problem. As a business owner, even in corporate, the more problems you can solve and address for your employer, they will start promoting you. They'll be giving you bigger issues to solve. That's really, if you want to advance, just be solving, just be solving problems. Oh, you have that project? I will do it. I used to raise my hand a lot. Like, things that were not my business. They know it. Like, my senior vice president, they used to know. I used to solve a lot of issues. Like, people didn't ask for this thing to be solved. It's like people are just passing it by. And I'll share some stories. Like, I will raise my hand. Why are we not solving this? This is why we should be solving this. And I have so many stories. I don't know if I should share some in corporate, so that maybe, because I know I've shared a lot about entrepreneurship, but for those in corporate, let me share a few examples. Pickup, Walmart pickup. That's one. Let me start with this one. Years ago, I went to to a store to change my phone, myself and my husband. And then when we opened it up, Amazon app was preloaded on the app. And at that time, I was working for Walmart. And I'm at the town where the headquarters of Walmart is. And I'm changing my phone with my family. And I opened my phone. I'm a loyalist, to Walmart as an employee, as a staff, as a strategist, right, in technology. I opened my new phone. And how dare Amazon preload Amazon app on my phone? I was like, why? Where is Walmart app also preloaded? None. I said, that's a problem. You see what I'm saying? I said, that's a problem. So I went back to my office. I'm working at the headquarters. I have access to the CIO, everybody. And I'm like, there is a problem. I work for Walmart and Amazon did something with Sprint and my phone is preloaded with Amazon app, not preloaded with Walmart. There's a problem. I have a problem with that. So I went back to technology. I started telling my colleagues, like, we have to solve this. We have to solve this. People are like, that's not my problem. It's nobody's problem. They were like, that's not our problem. I'm like, you are this. Let's solve this. Nobody. I say, hey, nobody wants to solve this. Do you know what I did? I sent an email directly to the CEO of Walmart. That's me for you. I go around solving problems. Hey, there is a problem. At a minimum, whatever Amazon is doing, you have to do as well. And he got right on it. And he sent his VP and they asked me questions. That was one. Another one was Walmart pickup. 7 December, how many years ago? They, digital omni-channel strategy, merging the digital physical experience for the customer. Today, everybody's talking about digital disruption. 6 years, 7 years ago is when we in technology, it's like the former CEO, if you're watching, right? She used to beat us with, I used to call it a virtual big stick, like in the cave old days where somebody's digital disruption, digital acceleration. Figure it out. We need to move. That was 6-7 years ago. There was this, she was fierce, like, the world, we already see where the world is going. We have to change. We have to change our strategy. We have to shift. We have to adjust. Okay? So this is about problem solving for your employer. Solve problems for your employer. Okay? So that was the problem. And then they came up with a pilot in Bentonville, Arkansas. And then my husband was like, Toyin, you don't like shopping and all of, I think that's something you would like. Anyway, I tried it. And when I tried it, I was like, this is the solution. Again, that's me. It's a mindset. The same thing I do as an entrepreneur that I'm teaching you, even in corporate, is the same. So I loved it so much. I was like, this is a game changer. You know what I did? It's not my problem. It's not even my day job to say anything about pickup. But I blogged 5 reasons why Walmart pickup is a game changer or something like that. I did that. Nobody asked. It's not my problem. It's not my issue. But one of the power is when you want to address something, prescribe. I wrote my prescription. This was like 6 or 7 years. I wrote it down. This is a game changer. I put 5 reasons and I wrote why those things. One by one, I put paragraph. And guess what? Instead of just share, I published it publicly. It's still available somewhere. When that article got in, then I shared it with some of my executive friends. Once it got into, I remember Sam Moses was my VP. I sent it to him. The moment he read it, he sent it to his colleagues and superiors, the people in charge of that project. The next thing you know, they're emailing me, Toyin, that is the problem we are having. You're solving our problem for us. Do you mind us sending you, we need to capture what you just shared in your article. We need to capture it. Do you mind us sending you, like a team, a crew to come and record you saying what you just said in your article? I was like, okay, it's their problem. It's not my problem, right? But because I'm solving, right? Next thing, movie producer from Hollywood Like this big agency, they showed up in my house, my scripts, they recorded me, videos, they used some of the videos internally, only inside, then publicly for over a year, they shared the customer journey story. But here's the kicker. My own testimonial 6 years ago, they now played it to board level, right? Decision makers. And guess what happened? They were trying to secure the funding. They used my, next thing I know, my SVP is like, Toyin, you are the local champion, you are the local hero. I wasn't in the room. I wasn't there. But apparently, me telling that story that this is a game changer, this is the future, this has 5 reasons, and I put it in video. They've been trying to tell that story for a long time, and people were like, oh, Pickup, why should you invest in Pickup? People will say, Strawberry, why do I need somebody to pick in my... But they got that funding, they fast-tracked it. Guess what? 2020, that it became a problem. The problem, here's what I was also saying. Sometimes you're telling people there's a problem, but they don't know there's a problem. Sometimes you need to leave them alone and let that problem mature. Imagine if they did not dose and solve that issue 6-7 years ago, 2020. Now, the people that didn't solve, everybody's running the rat race now. Look at the industry now, the retail industry. We've had data for 6-7 years that this is where the world is going, but people refused to solve it 5, 6, 7 years ago. Today, if I tell you I can solve your omni-channel strategy, you will hire me because the problem is now it's real. So anyway, I hope those stories help you. So if you're in corporate, solve. Just be a problem. Just be a solution. So even for me, that's why I can be public now, is that you look at my I have a track record. I have a track record. You see a problem, you perceive you have a solution, package it, bundle it, communicate it, message it, and you'll be amazed the results and the outcomes. So for me, up until now, what I was solving for was future, retail, international trade, all of that. But now I'm solving for entrepreneurship, because it's the present need that people have right now. And that's why I'm showing up this way. So I know I've taken more time, but I was sharing more stories, hopefully, so that today I can share both the entrepreneurship side, and then also if you're still in corporate, please just solve. Your employers need you to just solve. You're there. You're paying your salary anyway. Look for what problems. And I have so many stories, but I'll just stop there. I was an internal disruptor. I got into trouble, so be careful. I got into, because like I shared with you, this version of Toyin, if people are not ready for transformation, then this could be a pain, bitter taste. Like, we don't need that. Okay, fine. Move on to the people who are ready, who have been disrupted enough. So thank you. See you tomorrow, where we'll talk about your sales channel. Excuse me. Tomorrow, day 5, we're going to talk about your sales and distribution channel. So once you know your customer, okay, you're going to, first of all, day 1, start with what you have left, not what you've lost. Okay. Know your customers, know your message, know their pain points, know what it is you can do for them, right? Whether it's an aspiration, if you're in luxury, it's aspiration. Who needs that, right? But we all want to smell good, look good, right? I can sell you jewelry, I can sell you my lipstick, right? But then there's a pain. And then today is about realizing you have to engineer the solution. You have to design a package. And that's something I help people do over a period of 6 weeks, designing, optimizing your entire business. But if this information, hopefully you can do it for yourself as well. But if not, reach out. Courses, memberships, one-on-one, I have that. It's the same thing. I'm also helping people to package. You have to package it in doses, and you have to test it out before you scale it up. And then tomorrow is your distribution channel and sales channel. Like, what vehicle would you use to deliver your dose? Platforms, solutions, all of that. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.